Boxing King Media in association with Boxro, Ben Davison. Ben, we met in Vegas, Nottingham, now Glasgow. You're a very busy man and you're looking very tired.
No, I'm all right. You're a busy man, ain't you?
Just trying to keep up with you, man. So, Josh Taylor, massive fight for him. What kind of statement are you expecting him to make in front of his home crowd?
Well, obviously there's a huge expectation on Josh. I think a lot of people just think that this is going to be a blowout, but it's not the case. This is a level that you don't get often. One round World Championship fights, mandatory defences. I know Josh did before with Kong Song, but that was actually a patient performance and a well played out game plan. But I think Jack's going to be a little bit more cagey than that in moments, but he'll look to go first in moments as well. When there's a lull in the action, he'll try and change the pace and get off first. But I think it's important that Josh is disciplined early on in this fight and just makes it a gradual breakdown of Jack Catterall.
Motivation, 133-0. I think is the list of opponents Josh has had in recent times. Obviously on paper, Jack's probably the least known and obviously he's competed at obviously a lower level compared to his previous opponents. Has motivation been an issue in this camp or is he just, focused?
Just look at what's at stake. Look at what's at stake, the undisputed titles, the homecoming. There's so much at stake and I keep reminding that of Josh. Does it add pressure? Yeah, of course, but that pressure is what's going to make him perform, and I don't want to take that away from him. In fact, as I was saying before in the press conferences before and the build-up, we've prepared for Jack Catterall like he's better than we've ever seen before, and I believe that he will become Saturday night, and Josh is prepared for that.
Will weight making be a key factor in this fight? Because I was looking earlier on, Jack hasn't actually made super lightweight for I think 3 years. Will that be a key factor in this fight?
He's had a long time to prepare, so it shouldn't be, should it? But you never know. You never know until you've made the weight because there's always potential hurdles in making the weight and recovering from making the weight. So you need to make sure that you get that right. You can, it's like anything. You can be as prepared as you want to be, but until it's done, it's hard to say. So. Yeah, there shouldn't be, but you never know.
How did you manage to find somebody for sparring? Because obviously Jack's got his own unique style. He's a southpaw. Can't think of many fighters with that sort of style in this country.
We've had loads and loads of different sparring in. And sometimes you have to say to I've used some of my own southpaw fighters and said, I want you to do this, I want you to do that. 1, 2, 3 rounds at a time, or round in, round out, round in, round out. Or we've had other guys come in that we feel like have similar traits, may not exactly the same style, but similar traits to what we feel Jack will be bringing to the table.
Just moving on, the Amir Khan-KELL BROOK fight. Did the fight live up to your expectations and was it a lot bigger than you may have thought as well?
No, it was always going to be a massive fight, and obviously it was slightly past its best and it was definitely an element of who's got what left, but I know Kel, so one part of me was over the moon that he finally got that big fight and was able to get that victory that he'd always been chasing. But at the same time, I don't know Amir, but I've met him and spoke to him, and I know of a lot of the good work that he does in the community for charities and things like that. So I've got a hell of a lot of respect for him. I know obviously what a brilliant fighter he's been through the years. And you have to commend the way he probably knew early on, if not before the fight, that it was far from his best. But he stuck it out, showed so much heart, as he always has done. And the way that he took the defeat afterwards with true professionalism and act of class, is something to be admired.
The reason I brought that up is because Josh, obviously, not overlooking Catterall, but going forward, could a potential KELL BROOK fight be up on the horizon? Obviously, if he does move up in weight, what do you think of that?
No, I don't think so. Kell's not. For me, have you ever known of would you have ever known somebody to go out on such a high, you know? How many people chase a fight for like 15 years or whatever it was, finally get it, win it in that fashion? What a way to go out. If he does want another fight or so, maybe, but, you know, and who am I to say that he should retire? But I'm just saying that I think, you know, if he was to decide that, you know, what a way to go out.
And just to wrap up on that, more than likely it appears Conor Benn might be the name that KELL Brook goes for. Does he beat Conor Benn? Is it the right time for, you know, Conor to fight Brook? What do you think?
It's hard for me to say. It's hard for me to say where KELL is, because I think Amir was so far from him being at his best, you know. KELL could have been on absolute form. KELL might not have been on great form. KELL might not have actually been that great, and Amir was just that bad. Amir might have felt $1 million going into the fight, and KELL was just absolutely on form. It's hard for me to say, but I think just early on in the fight, it sort of took his path, and so I think it's hard to judge from that. So I really don't know.
Last question, Shabazz Masood's got a big fight coming up in Dubai. What are you expecting him to do from the last fight he had?
Yeah, he's a former world title challenger, boxed Nao Anui, Yohan Boyu, also lost to Paul Butler, so, you know, a world champion and a former world champion. It's a good fight for him, and it's a step in the right direction, which is most important. The fight was supposed to be for a title, but the inactivity of Boyu prevented that. But at the same time, it was the right fight for Shabazz to take in terms of his development, and as you say, the right fight in a stepping stone, focused on the development that and areas that we've been focused on developing Shabazz in. So I expect more of the same from what you saw from the Ruiz fight.
Cheers, Ben, and hopefully I'll see you in Nottingham in a couple of weeks' time.
Thanks, mate.